Hi guys, it's me Terry of the Yarnjoy podcast. Welcome back to part 2 of the Esther the Elephant Crochet Along. Okay, so I have the head complete. We did that in part 1 of the crochet along, or well, I showed you how to put the ears on and where to insert the eyes and how to get your eye indentions in. Okay, so going on to the rest of the pattern. The pattern is very straightforward as far as the other pieces. As you see, I have completed the body and stuffed it, okay? And I have already started the arms. I have this one complete. I just need to close it up and put the little pad on the underside of the feet and I actually already have started the next arm right here. I just haven't stuffed it yet or finished off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach the head to the body, and I'll show you how I do that, and then I will show you how I am putting the pads under on the bottom side of the foot. I am doing this multicolor just because it is the same yarn that I'm using for a blanket that's going to be going with this elephant, and so that's why mine is this color. In the pattern, I believe it calls for a lighter shade, just a lighter shade of whatever color that you're using, but this is just a suggestion that if it's going to go with a blanket, you could use the colors on the bottom of the feet to match the blanket that it's going to be going with. Okay, so let's first start with the body. Okay, I've got the body stuffed firmly, okay, and I am ready to start attaching the head to it. I've already got my yarn needle onto my end of yarn. Make sure that the tail, when you finish off, you have a very long tail of yarn, plenty of yarn to work with, because this is the yarn you will be using to attach the head to the body since the head is completely finished off. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is get my trusty pins here and pin the head. I like to put where the yarn tail begins, I like to put that at the back of the head, the back of the body. Okay, now I'm going to put my head on there, and I'm going to I know it's kind of hard to see it in this camera, but I'm trying to, I want to get it kind of even or level, I guess that's the word I'm looking for, level the head to the body, kind of on level, if that makes sense, and I start putting pins in to hold it in place where I'm wanting it. Okay, I'll kind of tilt it to the side there, maybe you can see it better. Yeah, okay, so I just start putting pins in there from on the body up to the head. That was my pin container clattering over here. You can also, let me dump a few pins out. Okay, so you can also put some running down from the head down into the body like that. I'm sorry if you can't see that, and just keep looking at the way it's sitting on the body to see if the head is level. You want it level side to side and back to front. Okay, and just kind of pin it in place where you're thinking it'll be good, it'll look good. Like that. Okay, and then, like I said, look at it all angles and see if the head looks like it's centered in the right place where you're wanting it. You can always adjust a little bit as you're stitching it on. Okay, I think that looks good. So now I'm going to start with my yarn needle here, and I'm going to start, it's already coming from the body, so I'm going to put a stitch there in the head and down back through the body again. I'm not at with my first stitches, I am not really I'm not trying to go in like every stitch all the way around. I'm basically just trying to tack it down so it won't move by going into the head and then across. I'm skipping quite a few stitches. I'm just, like I said, I'm just trying to tack it down to hold it steady where I'm wanting it. Okay, and I just kind of do that all the way around. I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing. So I'm got my yarn looped around the body here, so let me fix that. Okay. Into the body, and then down into the head, and then across, and come out the top stitch on the body. See, I went from here and then I came out over here. Like I said, just trying to tack it down where I'm wanting it, and then when I get back around to where I began, then I'll start concentrating on getting more of the stitches secured, because of course you don't want these gap holes here like that. So now that I've got the head pretty much sitting where I'm wanting it, I think, just by looking at the way it's sitting on all angles. Yeah, I think that looks good. Now I'm going to go back and go through, you know, pick up the other stitches that I skipped. Okay. You can, now that I have it tacked down, I can go ahead and take some of these pins out. Okay, and just work your way around, picking up the stitches. Okay. Another thing you can check on is see how my head is still pretty floppy. So what you can do before you get it all the way closed up, you can take extra stuffing, okay, and insert it into that hole. Sorry, it was my phone. Let me put it on silent. Okay. Okay, so like I said, now I can put extra stuffing in there right at the top to steady the head even more. And just shape it as you go. Okay, that's basically how I do it. I'm going to keep working my way around, picking up stitches that I've still need to be secured down. As you can see right there underneath the neck, there's a little bit of an indentation there. I didn't get those tacked down yet. I still kind of left that though, because that way I can even put in just a little bit more stuffing if I need to give it a good base for the head to sit on. Okay, so I'm going to keep stitching on this, and when I get it all stitched down, I will be right back, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, so I got my head secured to the body, and so let's go on to the arms and the legs. Okay, so like I said, the actual crochet construction of the body is, it's pretty straightforward. Just follow the directions, and you shouldn't have any trouble with it. Same way with the arms and the legs, just follow the instructions. Now I will say that if you want to, I think there's two ways that you could do the arms and legs as far as those different colored pieces, the pads underneath the feet. If you're doing a yarn that is the same weight yarn, which you should be doing that, for the pads under the feet, then actually you could start with that contrasting color and then do the first 4 rounds in that, and then on round 5 where you need to do a round of back loop only, that's when you can change to the main color. Okay, so you can do it that way, all in one piece. That way you don't have to stitch the pads onto the arms and legs after you make them. It'll be all one piece. So you can do that. Now with me, since the blanket that I want it to match is this multicolored yarn that I have, and this is actually a 3-weight yarn, where my my elephant, the gray color, is a 4-weight yarn. So what I had to do is I went ahead and did it separate like the instructions said, but on the foot pads, what you want is that this circle to cover the whole entire bottom of the feet where the back loop only loops were done. Okay, you want it to cover that whole surface. Well, since I used a lighter weight yarn, I had to do 1 extra round of increases on my foot, the pads for the foot, or the bottom of the feet. Yeah, and so it was 3 rounds where you end up with 18 single crochets around. But what I had to do is I had to do an extra round where I would end up with 24 stitches around. Okay, just an extra increase where I would, that extra round, I would single crochet in the first 2 stitches and then do 2 single crochets in the next one, and then repeat that, 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochets in the next one, and you repeat that around, you end up with 24. Now I had to do that because like I said, my yarn was smaller than my main color. Okay, of course you wouldn't have to worry about doing that if you're using all 4-weight, the same weight yarn. Okay, you could just do, like I said, you can just do up to round 4 and then change your color in round 5 to the main color. Okay, but if you're doing the foot pads separately, just yarn your needle, make sure you have a long tail on that foot pad, and then yarn your needle, and then you can use pins to kind of hold it down. But then all you're going to be doing is you're going to be stitching that down to the arm pad, the bottom of the foot, or yeah. Just picking up stitches on the main color, and then stitching that arm pad down. Pretty straightforward. Okay, and then when you get all the way around, you finish off by hiding the tail inside the arm. Okay, so let me go ahead and finish stitching my pad on, and then I will be right back. Okay, so I got the arm pad, or the bottom of the foot pad, stitched to my arm. Okay, and then the only other tip I could say about the arm is that the way I'd like to do my arms and legs, if I'm wanting to have the animal where he can sit on his own. Well, that's actually an arm, but anyway, so he can sit actually on his own. The way I do it is the arms and the legs both, I only stuff it up to about, I just kind of use my thumb as a measurement. So I stuff it firmly up to about a thumb's width, I guess you could say, from the top, okay? And then I don't stuff that top part. That way this can be flexible, and the arms and legs can be more flexible, and it's easier to, especially when they have the rounded tummies, it's easier to get the body balance onto the legs by doing that. So that's how I do it. So if that is a helpful tip for you, then feel free to try that out and see how you like that. But like I said, I just stuff it up to where I have a thumb's width space at the top, and then I fasten off, and then I slip stitch. Well, actually I slip stitch across the top to close that off, okay, through both thicknesses, and then I fasten off and then leave a long tail, of course, for sewing, and that's what I will use to attach the arms and legs to the body. Okay, so that's really it for this week's tip video. Start working on your, if you finished with your the head already, then start working on the body and the arms and the legs, and then I will be back next week, and then I will show you how I get the arms and legs attached to the body. And also don't forget to do the tail. The tail is very important. I like to use, I love animals that have tails because it helps to balance off the animal where it will, it's like a prop in the back to help it where it will sit by itself. So work on the body, the arms and the legs and the pads, either doing them separate or just starting in a separate color, and then change to the main color on row 5 of the arms. And I haven't started doing the legs yet, but I believe the legs are the same. Let me see, check right here. No, on the legs you have to go, you would do rounds 1 through 5, and then if you're going to do with the pad is built in, okay, to the pattern, you would do rounds 1 through 5 in the pad color, and then change color, attach your new yarn in back loops only in round 6. But it's the same basic principle. It's just that the arms you would do 4 rows, and then the legs is 5 rows before changing. Okay, so I think that is really all of the tips that I can think of. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward, the instructions. So I will meet you up next week, and we will get Esther finished off. So thanks guys for watching this tutorial, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.